Today we are going to do the AUTHORTUBE tag video. Without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm Donnegal, or if you prefer, Donnegal McGonagall. First question is, what's your book's pitch? My work in progress, if I were to go ahead and pitch it, would probably be a young girl who is untrusting of technology in an entirely tech-saturated world must overcome her hesitance, her fear, her feelings of mistrust, and work together with an AI boy who has been put into a bioorganic body and has a mission to save the world. The second question, if I were a book, how would I pitch myself? If I had to give it a shot, Donnegal Gordon, a young, ambitious dreamer who wants to go ahead and share stories with the world and help change people's lives, must overcome her feelings of self-doubt and balance a very hectic, stressful life, taking care of her family at the same time. Does that count as a book pitch? Anyway, question 3. What do you usually write? Probably a mix of sci-fi and fantasy. Currently, I'm writing a sci-fi novel. It's not going to be hard sci-fi, but definitely in those whereabouts. I also am writing a fantasy novel that is strictly fantasy. But I think I also have another one that is more sci-fi fantasy. Question 4. What's something you'll never write? If you're talking genres, I'm hesitant to say that I would never write anything. But right now, probably historical fiction. Or anything that's like pulling from a real story and like changing it a little bit. I probably wouldn't write that. If we're talking about things specifically in stories, things like smoking, probably not drugs though. Sounds a little bit iffier depending on the message that I'm trying to get across, but definitely nothing that encourages those two things. I think that's it that I can think of at the moment. It might change depending on as I go forward. Question 5. What's your goal for starting an AUTHORTUBE channel? Well, as I kind of said a little bit, I really want to help change people with storytelling. I want to help people see different perspectives. I want to help myself see different perspectives as well through collaboration, so I'm hoping to do a lot of collaborating with this channel. I'm hoping to share the tips that I've learned while writing, and going forward, I want to do more with editing and help people with that. Overall engagement, learning between me teaching people what I know and me learning from other people, or even just from the process. I want to do a lot of it as like you can learn with me. So I'll be doing some like craft videos where I'm also working on my craft but showing you how I'm going about it. Question 6. What made you want to start writing? I can't really remember a time that was like definitively like I want to write. But I've always been a big reader, and I do remember being taught how to read by my older sister, and since then it's just always been part of me. Like, I'm the type of person that reads like 50 or plus books in a year. I think there was one month when I read like 20 books in just that one month, and all kinds of different stories, which I think is the heart of it, because of storytelling. It's because of exploring characters and different worldviews and different situations. So that's probably why I write. Okay, question 7. What's your publishing path? I still need to do a little bit more research. I thought that it was going to be indie publishing for sure, but I also don't know if I can afford that. I don't know enough about traditional publishing yet, but I think maybe a hybrid of them. Like, I need to test the waters a little bit with both and see what is possible for me and why I would want one over the other. Question 8. What content do you bring to the AUTHORTUBE table? Like I said, I want to do some craft videos, so me teaching you or explaining different things that I either notice in fiction that I know. Well, I don't want to say know how to do better. Like, there's no right way to write, but like things that I found that help me, or things in the craft that I'm currently working on that you might be able to glean some information for your own writing. I would love to do some Q&As if anybody has questions over the time. Go ahead and drop them in the comments. Then once there's enough compiled, I will definitely do a Q&A video. I would love to do that. I want to do eventually videos on publishing. I want to do videos on editing. One of the things I'm really excited about with this channel is the fact that I haven't published a book yet, but I've done so much writing, and the reason that I started this channel is because I did a lot of fan fiction, and I realized that one of them I've written 430 plus thousand words. Like, that's like 4 books right there. Why not put it towards this, put that energy elsewhere, and get published? So I'm hoping to bring others that might need that help and inspiration along the journey with me, and we can go ahead and learn together. We can learn from each other and just keep pushing forward on that path. Question 9. What's your biggest writing struggle? I have learned that my emotional state affects my ability to write. So if I have a day and it's just a terrible day and I get really upset, I found that I can't write. I can't generate any of that creativity into my story, which is something I need to work on. If we're talking strictly craft, my biggest struggle is probably character voice. But my biggest struggle is probably dialogue. And those are 2 different things that we're definitely going to be working on this channel. 10. What's your best writing skill? I would say that I'm very good at writing high emotional scenes, and combat scenes would probably be my highest. I've noticed in the past that's a lot of what I did write, is I was always so excited to write the like dangerous scenes. Like, think about in the climax of your favorite action movies. I loved writing those kind of scenes, or like scenes with monsters and a chase happening, or like moments after a fight, really reflective scenes about the inner emotional world. So there's 2 questions for this one. There's one for if you've been in the AuthorTube for a while, and then the one that I'm going to answer today is if you are new to AuthorTube. Question is, what is your biggest AuthorTube question? My biggest question is probably about how to go about collaborating with other writers in the AuthorTube community. There are so many writers that I've been following that I really look up to. I would just love to work with them. I would love to learn from them. So I want to really foster those engagements and those collaborations and those connections. And I'm really curious as to what the best way to go about that is. The next question, am I looking for new channels to follow, any betas, CPs, or other types of writer buddies? I know I'm eventually going to need beta readers. And yeah, I really want to do collaborations, and I want this to be is community the right word? A community effort almost? Final question. What are you most excited for during this new fresh start on AuthorTube? I'm most excited to see how far I can go and how many different writers I can connect with, how many people I can help. Those are my favorite comments by far on my videos, is when someone lets me know that, hey, what you experienced, what you learned, what you were trying to explain was really helpful for me. I really love knowing that I can help people. Yeah, thank you for watching. And if you want to see more videos on my channel, and if you want to hear me ramble anymore, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have questions, comment, leave those below. Yeah, I will see you next video.